I realize that my audio is off for a good portion of this stream, and hopefully you've enjoyed just looking at the radar scope with me. So we're looking right now at a line of very strong winds that are moving out of Conyers into the Monroe area in about probably another 7 to 8 minutes. And my audio is off for a good portion of this stream, and hopefully you've enjoyed just looking at the. Let's turn that off. At the radar scope with me. I'm still fairly new to doing the live streams, and I'm still working out my techniques. So apologies for the technical issues. Aiming to get better each time I do this. Alright, so let's go back and take a look here at our radar omega. So we are looking at this line of very, very strong winds. Right now they're just over Walnut Grove and approaching between in Loganville, Georgia, heading towards Monroe and eventually Statham, Bogart, and Athens. Some of these winds in this area right here are going to be approaching 60 miles per hour. We do have a little bit of a tightening of a couplet right here just south of Walnut Grove in Jersey. That's not a tornado, but there's a little bit of hint of rotation there. Nothing to worry about just yet. That's not been warned. Further south of us, down towards Jackson and Flovilla, heading towards Monticello, you see this giant pocket of very, very strong winds of 65 mile per hour winds that are heading northeast towards Madison. I don't think those are going to affect us as much here. Our danger is going to be, if such that it is, and look on this last refresh here, it looks like those winds have calmed down a little bit over the last 5 minutes, which is great news. So these this system right here is still get 50-55 miles per hour winds with this system right around between Georgia, just west of Monroe. So what I hope will continue to happen is out in front of this main line of storms, you see a lot of convection happening over here towards Winterville and Union Point and Greensboro. The more of that we have build out there, it will take a little steam off of the main line of storms as it comes through. It'll kind of burn up some of the available energy in the atmosphere. So that's something we want to see, honestly. That big pocket of very strong winds down in Flovilla, heading towards Monticello, you see there's not a lot of stuff out in front of it, so that's why those winds are intensifying there, because there's nothing there to eat up the energy in the atmosphere until that system gets there. That's why these winds are pretty strong. And that's sort of what we're looking at here, this alley here with Watkinsville down to Good Hope and over towards Monroe. You have this kind of area of nothing happening. I think that's why we're going to continue to see some strong winds build into our area. I don't think those winds are going to subside a ton. Let's take a look at the latest velocity update. And so actually this little pocket right here on top of between Georgia, just west of Monroe, there's been a little bit of uptick in the wind velocities there. So we're now around 60 mile an hour winds right over between Georgia right now. The system is moving very rapidly, 65 miles per hour. Should be in Bogart in another 15 minutes. Athens will be here in another 20-25 minutes. All in all, this has been not as terrible as it could have been. We've had a couple or 3 tornado warnings from this today so far. Including we had a couple tornado warnings issued for the Peachtree City, Fayetteville location, as well as one that was over by McDonough and Stockbridge. So, and the remnants of those warnings are what we're looking at right now here, right over between Georgia and just below Jersey. I've never been through Jersey, Georgia. I wonder what that's like. Probably a lot of pine trees and a lot of 2-lane roads and pickup trucks. So our little system over between, which is just passing over between right now over Highway 78. This is the one that I think it's going to be. That'll be the one that we look at for Athens. For Watkinsville, this little cell that's kind of below Jersey, which is kind of falling apart a little bit, and I'll show you why that's happening. Out in front of the system right here, this kind of little bubble here, there's a lot of convection that's building out in front of this, and that's a good sign. Like, none of these are supercellular. Like, they're just rain showers that are starting to build out in front of the line of storms, and that's great because it robs the atmosphere of available energy, so it kind of weakens what's coming behind it. Tornadoes are really, really hard to make happen. They want to happen, but it's, you know, they with the right environment, but it's really hard for them to occur. Likewise, here in the corridor from Athens and Watkinsville down to Good Hope and Monroe, there's an area where there's not really convection, and that's kind of the track of the system right now. So I feel that this little cell and all this junk right here is going to retain a decent amount of strength as it approaches us, unless we start building some convection in the next 15 to 20 minutes. But right now, there's nothing out in front of this, so there's plenty of atmospheric energy for these storms to tap into as they roll through. Now, areas that are like more for Bogart and Statham, like, I think that when these systems pass through y'all, like, you're not going to feel them as strongly as folks that are going to be south of those locations. We'll wait for our next velocities update. So I'm starting to hear some thunder out on my area here on the west end. Not seeing anything in the way of rotation with this system, so that's what we want to see. We don't want to have a tornado. But we are seeing some very, very strong straight line winds that are right now just west of Monroe, just passed over between Georgia. Some of these strong straight line winds are in the neighborhood of 50 to 60 miles per hour. Looks like there's a little pocket of some stronger winds, like 40, 45 mile an hour winds that are just about to approach Winder. Those winds are ticking up a little bit Actually, now the latest refresh happened, so that's so you folks in Winder are probably seeing a little bit of probably 45-mile-an-hour winds. The cell I'm looking at that will be on track for reaching our area is right here in Monroe, and we are still seeing some strong 50 to 55-mile-an-hour winds. A little bit south of Monroe, probably has some 55, maybe even up to 60-mile-an-hour winds. So a broad area rotation right here. That's not anything that I would think needed to be warned, but just interesting, because that the system is also getting into that alley of no convection out here. We'll go back and look at the reflectivity. So there's not really much happening in the way of rain out in front of the storm tracks of these systems right here. So if something were able to start getting going, there'd be enough energy to draw from here in this area. This kind of donut hole right here, that's just energy waiting to be used for a storm. That's what that is. But so far, the system is underperforming based on what National Weather Service and model data was suggesting it might be yesterday. I'm also going to move this the screen over a little bit. It's a little underperforming based on what we were seeing in the model runs yesterday, and that's kind of been a theme with model data. Like the last few storms, is that like short-term data is going to you suggest that we have massive tornado outbreak a couple weeks ago, and granted there were in Louisiana and Mississippi, and even there was multiple different tornadoes, some decently strong ones, that one of which took out the National Weather Service office in Alabama. But as we get closer into Georgia, like these systems just have been repeatedly falling apart and not just losing their strength, which is great because we don't want tornadoes. Who does? But I feel that eventually we're going to let our guard down, and we're going to find a really strong system move through our area. Let's take a look at our velocities again, and we need to be prepared. Like that's why we take all these systems. Like you got to assume that they're going to do what they say they're going to do, which is why we have these big tornado sirens and all these wonderful tools we have today to notify us. All right, so our little cell here that was over between, that seems to be calming. It looks like winds are shifting a little bit down towards Monroe. South of Monroe, we have those 55-mile-an-hour winds. Definitely hearing some thunder built into our area out my window here. This wasn't exactly a nothing burger today. Like we definitely had multiple different tornado warnings. This exact line of storms, like earlier today, we had 2 warnings in Peachtree City, Fayetteville, and we had another tornado warning around Stockbridge and McDonough area on the same system that's tracking right towards us right now. So we got to see what if there was a tornado on that Stockbridge storm. We looked a little bit earlier in the stream at a live cam where I'm assuming that live cam was pointed south, because we saw that a very strong, heavy rainfall and some winds were happening there. That tornado probably was not on the ground, but if there was something that was like in the air, that we probably caught that on camera. It was rain wrapped, so you wouldn't have actually seen the funnel. So I'll probably stick around here just for a few minutes more, but right now I'm not seeing much in the way. There's a little bit of broad rotation right here, which is south of Monroe. It's heading up towards North Shoals and Watkinsville, but like I say, broad rotation is nothing to worry about. Like it's just like, and there's another little couplet right here in Rutledge, just some broad rotation. I just don't think there's enough energy in the atmosphere to make it happen. I don't have a sounding to look at. I wish we did, so we could know right off the bat, like what's limiting that from happening. A little bit of tightening right there around Newborn, but on the whole, this is just mostly a straight line wind event. Just perfect. Like, I mean, not perfect, but like it's ideal. So I'd rather have that than tornadoes. And the good news is that the best possible scenario for us today would be in like a lot of folks like Crawford and Maxey's, Georgia. Those areas are going to get some really good soaking rains today. And I wish that we were getting those soaking rains right now, because by God, we need it. It does look like there's going to be some good rains after the main push of storms goes through. It looks like there's going to be some good rainfall happening afterwards. That's going to be good. We definitely need it. We're in a D0 drought, like abnormally dry drought status right now for our area. It goes from D0 up to D5. So we're definitely needing to get some rainfall. I'll probably stick around just for another update or two on the velocities and make sure nothing's like starting to tick up. But like I'm not seeing anything worrisome, and I think I'm probably going to hop off the stream here in a few minutes. Thanks for those of you all who joined to watch this non-event happen, which hopefully will be a non-event. Hopefully nothing spins up here in the next few minutes. I don't think it will. I think we're gonna be good. Okay, so the latest update happened here just on velocities. The winds have calmed down just a little bit. The pocket that was over between that did have 55, 60 mile an hour winds. Right now we're back down into the 40, 45 mile an hour winds. And that little pocket right now is heading towards Statham and Bogart and southwest Athens. This little cell that's southeast of Monroe and southwest of Good Hope heading towards Watkinsville, that's still got some pretty spicy winds in there of 50, 55 mile an hour winds heading towards Watkinsville. And this line of storms is moving pretty dang quick. So Watkinsville probably going to be there in another about another 12 to 13 minutes. And this little pocket here between Georgia, if we kind of extrapolate that out a little bit, let's see when we're looking at getting into the Bogart area. So Bogart, another 10 minutes or so for that little cell to reach that area. Not a lot of lightning with this line. There was earlier, at about maybe 40 or 45 minutes ago, when we were looking at the tornado warned system over by Stonecrest. There's a lot of lightning. I'm hearing thunder, but I'm not seeing a lot of lightning detects here on the Radar Omega app right now, so that's good. But earlier today, there was a ton of lightning associated with this system. That's back when the system was tornado warned over in the Stonecrest area. And earlier today, there was some pea-sized hail reports over a little bit north of Atlanta and Peachtree Corners and Smyrna, that area. But and just checking the MPing data right now, it doesn't look like there's been a lot in the way of hail. So there's a little bit of a tightening right here around Good Hope. I just don't know if this thing will let me. I don't know if this thing will let me draw on the screen. No, it won't. Okay, dang. Looks like we have a new tornado warning, and this is going to be for Alabama, southeast Alabama, and not for our area. This area right here over Good Hope, there's some broad circulation happening right here where my mouse is circulating. And that's heading in the direction towards Watkinsville and southwest Athens. So we'll keep an eye on that. And thank you for joining the stream today. If you haven't subscribed and liked and all the fun things, I really would appreciate that. I'm still getting used to the streaming software that I'm using, and like trying to improve my processes, get a little better as we do these. I don't do these super duper often. Whenever there's interesting weather, I enjoy. But thank you again for watching. And we're looking at a broad area of rotation here around Good Hope, Georgia, just east of Monroe. And that cell will be moving towards the North Watkinsville and Southwest Athens area. And it's moving pretty quick. So we'll be here in another 15 minutes. I don't think that this broad area rotation is going to generate a tornado warning. I don't think that's going to happen based on the last refresh here. But we do have an uptick in the winds here, especially a little bit south and east of Good Hope. So we definitely are pushing back into that 55 to 60 mile per hour winds here, approaching Watkinsville in the next 8 to 10 minutes. And then further down here, we have a cell right northeast of Rutledge heading towards say that fast. Arnoldsville, Georgia, and Crawford. That'll be moving into your area and probably be there in another 15 to 20 minutes. Got a little bit of wind activity around Statham, around 40-45 mile an hour winds right over Statham right now. So we still do not have any rain in the Athens area right now. So that's what I've been mentioning before, like where you see a lot of rainfall out in front of these systems, that kind of eats up some of the atmospheric energy and will reduce some of the punch of the main line of storms coming through afterwards. But here in this little corridor, where we're looking here in Athens and Winterville and so on, that's there's no convection happening, so there's a little more energy for systems to draw on. There's been another velocity update. Let's take a look and see what we're looking at now. Again, we have that area of broad rotation right here, just west of North Hile Shoals and Bishop, north of Good Hope. And that's going to be moving in a northeasterly direction, more towards South Athens and Watkinsville area at this point. This does not look tight enough to where there's going to be a warning on it. You see the dark reds right there, and you've kind of got some mid colors, and then the bright yellows right there. The closer you have the two extreme colors to each other, that's when you have really tight couplet. And when you have like some gray or some kind of muted colors between the two extremes, that's when there's like more broad rotation, and likely not a tornado happening at that point. Madison is about to get walloped with this massive line of wind right now that's just passed over Monticello and heading towards Madison and Buckhead, Greensboro, Georgia. Wouldn't be surprised to see some downed trees from all this right here for sure in those areas. All right, got another velocity update. Looks like the winds that were over between Georgia and kind of moving this direction have kind of calmed a bit. So we've got now winds around 40-45 mile an hour. We can zoom in a little bit if we're approaching Bogart. So we should start seeing some rain build into our area right now, some light rain. And in the next few minutes, it is going to let loose. So this system should be over Athens, directly downtown Athens, in 10 minutes. So the area down, this little cell right here by Bostwick, you might have some hail, some pea-sized hail with that. We might see a little bit of hail, especially towards South Athens and Watkinsville area. You might have a little bit of pea-sized hail with a couple of these systems locally. But not seeing much concern there for anything. All right, I think I'm gonna hop off the stream. I'm gonna go check the storm out, and thank you so much for watching. And I'll be back again for the next spicy weather event in Athens, Georgia. Right now, I don't know when that's gonna be. There's some potential for something happening next weekend, but we'll see. For now, thank you so much for watching. If you don't mind, hitting like, subscribe, and I'll be doing this again next time we have something fun happen. And we'll always be on the reddit.com/r/Athens Georgia weather, and we'll talk to you sometime soon. Have a good afternoon.